Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 day into Go Battle Day and 2 days into Great League Remix. So we've already shown one team here on the channel, a full video on Cresselia Charizard, specifically Shadow Charizard and Shadow Steelix. There were 4 teams I went over in my best teams video, and I want to go. I want to make videos of those teams because those are the teams I think are the best. So we're going to go into the second team that I really like here, which is the Shadow Feraligatr lead with the Annihilape and the Pidgeot in the back. Now, if you guys know on this channel, I freaking love Annihilape. Annihilape is such a cool mon. Just even just the look, it looks cool, but it has such great coverage and counters very, very strong in Pokemon Go. So why not use that? Now, the one thing I did change from the Open Great League usage on the Feraligatr was we were using Shadow Claw, Hydro Cannon, Ice Beam. I'm now using Crunch instead of Ice Beam. I think the coverage is a little better in this league. That's all, not all, but there are some water types like Empoleon, Mantine, more specifically Jellicent. And even the mirror, although to be fair, in Mantine, I like to go straight Hydro Cannon. In the Empoleon matchup, I also like to go straight Hydro Cannon. And believe me, that's from me actually going Crunch. I wouldn't do it. Although Crunch into Empoleon's fine. But against Mantine, actually straight Hydro Cannon seems like the best way, and to soft lose and then get a little bit of HP energy lead on the other two mon. We'll see that in this video. I made sure to try to go through a lot of the leads. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. If you haven't, though, please subscribe to the channel if you like these videos. Really helps me a lot with the analytics, the YouTube algorithm, and all that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Right, and then another thing you can see there on the left side, left is that way. Annihilape is running Night Slash and not Ice Punch. So let's go ahead and get into this one. So we have a Dedenne lead here, and actually Dedenne hard counters this whole team if you really think about it, right? So it has the electric typing for the water type and the flying type, and then the fairy typing for the fighting type that we have here. We do catch a discharge. I did notice that they do win CMP, so I didn't want to. I'm going to shield this. I didn't want to try to go for another CMP because obviously a discharge is going to do so much freaking damage to us. They come in with Goodra. I end up throwing the Night Slash here, and I think they end up calling it. And Goodra is actually pretty good against us as well. I try to get to a Shadow Ball, but not going to make it. Probably should have thrown the Shadow Ball the first time through, but that's fine. I think I'm going to go into Feraligatr here. I guess I could go into Pidgeot as well, but I do have the Hydro Cannon. And I'm hoping that I can get this down before they get to a Power Whip, or that they just get to an Aqua Tail and we get a little bit of extra energy. This ends up being a Power Whip. But yeah, we do have the Pidgeot still here in the back, so able to farm that down. 1 second there. Get a little bit of an energy lead onto the Dedenne, which is nice, and the Dedenne is actually very frail. Ends up being a Guzzlord in the back, and then I'm like, I just have to go for Brave Bird on good timing and hope that that is enough with the 10 wing attacks. And it is. Surprising to me, I did not think Guzzlord was going to get one shot there by the Brave Bird. Now with Galvantula, I throw right away because 5 Shadow Claws is just under the 3 volt switches it's going to take for it to throw a lunge, and it's always going to throw a lunge here. Why would it not? We can go for the shield and try to get the next shield from the Galvantula as well. So I'm already going to lose this matchup. I might as well get a shield advantage out of it. Or we can win the matchup if they decide not to shield, but they do. I'm going to come in with the Annihilape, and then you can decide whether or not you want to shield here or just take the hit. I believe I just take the hit, thinking that Pidgeot's probably going to be good enough in the back against, hopefully, their back line, considering it was an electric lead. I lose a little bit of the counting there. I probably could have gone 2 more counters, but, it is what it is. We're going to take this out. Have a little bit of lead here on the Tapu Fini, and I'm just like, I'm going to go to Shadow Claw, or Shadow Ball. And Tapu Fini's also a little bit tough for our team, since it has that water type. But You know, it gets hit hard, and we actually win CMP here. It has Nature's Madness and Surf. Again, if you haven't seen Tapu Fini in a couple days, it just got Nature's Madness maybe 3 days ago from this video. And yeah, you need to be wary of that move, one-shotting your Annihilape. So, Annihilape lead here. Now, they're going to be able to win CMP, or they're going to throw Night Slash, and I don't want to CMP on the Night Slash. I'd rather get all this extra energy and then throw the Hydro Cannon here. I do think it does win CMP, although it's probably pretty close. I decided to catch this Night Slash on my Pidgeot. I get one wing attack in here, which is nice, but the odds are the thing in the back is going to be good against me. It actually is Aurorus. I end up throwing the Brave Bird right away because I don't think it's going to be able to farm me down anyways. I think I can get to an Aerial Ace, but probably should have thrown an Aerial Ace. Well, it's tough to say because if they would not have let us get to an Aerial Ace and a Brave Bird, they definitely would have thrown energy there, but it's fine. I think I'm going to come in with Feraligatr because I can win CMP and I knew that I had that move. And then if they decide to throw, I'm going to let Feraligatr go and then come in with the Annihilape to farm down. They do end up just letting it go. Their Annihilape is pretty low in the back. We're going to get all these Shadow Claws off. Unfortunately, we go into a Simul KO, but it is a Dugong in the back, which is nice. I'm going to throw this Night Slash before they throw a move, just because I'm 99% sure that they're going to throw an Icy Wind, and I want to throw a move that's not debuffed first. Even though Night Slash not very much damage, we get the boost. We would have won that game anyways, though. Cresselia is a bit of a tough one. They can go to Grass Knot, which is 6 turns. We go for the Crunch here, which, again, this is nice. I didn't mention that at the beginning of the video, but Crunch is very good against Cresselia as well. The only thing is, we do have to shield here. We do get the defense drop, but is it really worth anything? I'm not too sure. They do end up switching out to Swampert, and I don't know what to do right away, so I decided to stay in Feraligatr here. We can take a Hydro Cannon on Feraligatr, so we're going to save that for later, I guess. I'm going to go probably just for an Aerial Ace here. I believe they're one off from a second Hydro Cannon. We end up going for the Aerial Ace. They are not going to throw. They probably think we're running a Feather Dance, but I just want to get a little bit of damage off. We're going to probably let this just hit us. They're already up to 2 Hydro Cannons, basically, and if we live, we can throw another Aerial Ace right here. They do CMP us, but at this point, the Swampert's pretty low. We can come in with Feraligatr, maybe get a little bit of an energy advantage. Could come in on Annihilape also to get that energy advantage, but they do come in with a Sableye. Now, we can go for a shield and double Hydro Cannon, but something to think about is that switch is almost up, and I decide since the hit went through, I'm going to switch into this. Feraligatr is very good against the Cresselia, whereas Annihilape's not the best. But we do have the Night Slash here, but they're going to be able to farm us down with Cresselia. That is something to note. Although the Cresselia, yeah. The thing is, we had to see what they were coming in with on the top right, because they could come in with a Swampert. We get the boost again. I actually boosted a ton. I think I get another boost here, by the way. Yeah. Streamer luck, actually, right? I streamed a lot of these games. You can check out that live stream. Now, I did stream a ton of games. I think I streamed 55 games on the first day of Go Battle Day. And then some of these I did offline that you won't have seen, so I like to show a little bit of a difference there. Yeah, I've been thinking about half of these weren't on stream, half were. So if you want to check out the full stream and how all the matchups go, you can definitely check that out. One matchup I never really quite got down, because it does take a while to learn these types of teams, which is why it's so great to play on Go Battle Day, is the Shadow Magnezone lead. I think I did not win any Shadow Magnezone lead matchups, so just want to put that out there for y'all to know. It kind of makes sense, right? Feraligatr and Pidgeot were ABA weak to Electric, but I did show some of the other Electrics, which we did beat, and we were able to fully figure out the regular Magnezone lead. So that's nice. So regular Magnezone, we got down pat. There's one of these in the video, so you'll be able to see it. This matchup was pretty easy, so I wanted to just go through that. All right, Annihilape lead here, which is pretty good for us. Again, we saw this a little early. They always go for the Night Slash, so you do want to shield, because if you get Night Slashed, they can definitely just farm you down if they want to go to the shields. But if they don't, we can go for the Hydro Cannon. They do end up catching here on the Dugong, which is okay. We at least get to come in with the Annihilape and go for the win in this matchup. But it is interesting if they are trying to bait out this Annihilape. Maybe they have something like Empoleon in the back. I actually saw a surprising amount of Empoleon on Go Battle Day. A few of the shadows, a few non-shadows. We end up going for the full farm down here, which is very nice. If they do end up coming in with the Annihilape, they technically have a move, so I do end up throwing a Shadow Ball right away. And it actually is a Steelix in the back, so they did try to bait it out. But to be fair, we're going to go up to 2 Shadow Balls here. I try to get as many counters in as I can, even though I am reduced from that Icy Wind. My attack stat is 1 stage reduced. We're obviously doing a ton here. And then they end up throwing, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. I actually think I'm just going to come in with Pidgeot and try to farm this down. And then they end up coming in with the Annihilape. We can definitely just farm this down. We can take any move that they throw. All right, Shadow Empoleon. I think I end up going Crunch here. I think upon later trials, I would definitely just go straight Hydro Cannon. I guess 1 Crunch definitely KOs. Maybe we can go, okay, how about Crunch and then Hydro Cannon? I think that's what we ended up doing, actually. Because the first one definitely KOs, and then the second Hydro Cannon is enough to KO as well. Which maybe means you can just go straight Hydro Cannon into the Shadow one. They do come in with Venusaur, and I end up switching into Pidgeot, and I was like, well, this was weird. But to be fair, I didn't want them to like farm us down there. This Brave Bird ends up hitting, which is nice, and then I'm like, okay, I decide not to shield because I'm going to get KO'd, and then I thought about it a second later, and I was like, this is a huge mistake, because I could have shield farmed down and then throw something into this Venusaur, because now I'm in this weird spot where I'm probably going to have to try to catch something. I don't have Ice Punch, so it's actually not even in a Night Slash range. So yeah, the only win con here is probably to try to catch a move, or if I think I can outpace, I can go for a move on Feraligatr. I do end up going for the catch here, and this is probably going to be a win, although it still has a lot of HP, and I don't think I'm going to make it to Shadow Ball, so I have to go for the Night Slash here. You saw my indecision. Not necessarily indecision. I wanted to do Shadow Ball, but I knew I couldn't based on the energy count. So this was a really sweet matchup. They had a Heatran under 1500. Then they switched into Giratina. Obviously, we hard countered the Giratina here. I'm not going to be able to farm this all the way down, but we double resist all the ghost moves, and it only has ghost moves. So I'm going to throw an Aerial Ace into it when I get to 100 energy here, and then probably go for a bit of an undercharge, and then go for a full farm down. Yeah, obviously we have all day to do whatever we want in this matchup, but I do want to show this because this person was hard flexing with their legendary trades. Heatran is some crazy, you have to have 1 level friendship, and you still only have like a 5% chance or something. I feel like it's even less than that. The person I did swap my Heatran with, they did get under 1500. Unfortunately, I did not get under 1500. That's the only Heatran trade I ever did, because I don't necessarily care too much about Heatran. They do come in with the Cresselia. Now we do have Annihilape for the Heatran in the back. It was a triple legendary team, and as soon as they saw we have Crunch, they're just done with it. Shadow Dragonair, something I mentioned on the best Mon in this league video. I do go up to the Ice Beam and then throw Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon's still going to do a lot of damage, so at this point it kind of is in Hydro Cannon range. It's all about whether or not I outpace, so I can definitely get more shields if I want to. And then I'm probably going to swap to something because I don't want them to farm me down and get all that energy and get that shield back. If they're going to get the shield back, I want to at least have energy on the other thing that's coming in. So I'll probably shield here on the Pidgeot. For a second, I thought I wasn't. And then go up to a little bit of energy if they do stay in. I think I probably could have maybe gone for a farm down, but we still have a bit of an energy advantage. They obviously didn't switch into the hard counter. No, we fell into a Heatran, or a Ferrothorn. I think I had the wrong steel type. They do go for the Mirror Shot. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird. I'm going to go on good timing here. I don't think it's going to KO, although Brave Bird is obviously a hard-hitting move. Gets it pretty low, and then we are 1 short here of another Aerial Ace, which actually would have given us quite an edge. But going to obviously go into the Annihilape. At least we have an energy lead going into this. They do come in with a Fire type, Crocolore, and then I tried to catch, and then they ended up throwing a move into Feraligatr, which is nice. Although, to be fair, they would have gotten farmed down. This is one where they didn't mess up or anything, but Gonna hope to win CMP here. I know that this mon does have something like Flame Charge. Maybe it has Flame Charge Crunch, if I was to guess. I played a game, I coached a... Oh, wait, is that all of them? No, we have a bit... Uh-oh. All right, a bit of a technical mishap there. But yeah, I was telling my one of the students that I coach that we would never see that Firemon again, and we did end up seeing it here, so that was interesting. All right, Gligar lead is pretty nice for Feraligatr. The only thing you have to worry about is later on them gaining a lot of energy. I end up catching here on Pidgeot, and I was like, when I did it at the time, I was like, why did I do this? But I end up catching a Crunch, which is nice, which means we probably end up living this Hydro Cannon. It is the regular Feraligatr and not the Shadows, so that is interesting to think about. I saw my... Uh-oh. Okay. Nothing happened in the game. All right, we're down a shield here. They do end up coming within Polion. I do go up to 100 energy so that I can try to go for the double Brave Bird, which is going to be good enough to actually KO them if they do end up not shielding. They do end up shielding, though, and another good thing about Brave Birding and then double Brave Birding is that at least you get KO'd pretty fast. We do have the Annihilape for this, but they obviously do have a lot of energy at this point. They can throw the Drill Peck. It's definitely not going to KO us, but it is super effective, so that is something to think about. And I think at this point we're kind of all in on Feraligatr since it is good against Gligar as well, and this is probably in range of getting Hydro Cannon, especially with a little bit of this energy lead. And we go up to a little bit of extra energy here. Obviously, they are throwing Steel Wings into us, which are resisted by the water typing of Feraligatr, and then they just leave because they have a Gligar on the back. All right, Mantine. This is the way I end up playing it out nowadays, just going straight Hydro Cannon. They can go Aerial Ace, and I like soft losing this matchup. You win CMP on the second one, so you definitely get 2 Hydro Cannons off for no... Yeah, always. You're never going to get like farm down or anything like that. Obviously, look how much health we have left. And you're also never going to KO them, so it's good to note. You could come in with an Annihilape and end up farming down afterwards, depending on how tanky their Mantine is. I've seen the amount of health differ by a bit. But I do end up usually coming with Pidgeot and farming down. It is 5 wing attacks to wing attack that down. And they do end up bringing the Steelix here. Oh, someone just subscribed while I was recording this video. Verdin7676, thank you for the subscription. The funny thing is this is not live. I'm literally recording offline, but Streamlabs tells me someone subscribed at this exact moment. We get the boost again, and this was one of the offline games, still getting that luck on the boosts. But that's why you run Annihilape, right? You have the chance to get those boosts. Probably going to come back in with the Mantine, so I do end up going for the farm down there. And I figured I can get 2 moves off, and since I have the boost, I can just go for both Night Slashes, and then I end up just throwing it all away, and I'm like, oh no, this thing has Stone Edge. I'm just going to have to throw the Brave Bird and hope for the best at this point. I've already messed this game up, but it is enough to actually KO the Shadow Quagsire from like 90%. It was like 85% HP. So I'm going to go over the Mantine matchup again here just to show a little bit of the health differential on certain Mantines versus others. Some probably are from eggs, some are probably traded and have actually amazing Great League IVs or something like that. So I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon again. They almost always CMP here. To be fair, they do have to throw a move. It's not like they can just save up. But they can go for a little bit of extra energy. They know it's not going to KO. But yeah, this one has a little bit more HP than the last. But it is always going to be a pretty good farm down for the Pidgeot. I haven't gotten into one where they actually survive. And it is a Quagsire in the back. So now I'm like, okay. Could be the same team with Steelix. They do end up going for Shield here. We don't have to shield this first one. It's either Mud Bomb or Aqua Tail. Almost always Aqua Tail. It is better in this league. But they go for the Mud Bomb, and it is into their own Annihilape. Now, unfortunately, they do... Well, not unfortunately. We have a shield advantage, but they're almost always going to bait here because we're unfortunately so low on HP. So I decide, if they're going to bait, I can live these counters, but I can't. I do end up going for Night Slash here. Now, we can shield. They do have no more shields left, so we can go for a lot of shields here on the Pidgeot, even though technically the Night Slash is not going to be enough to KO us here. Gonna shield the first one. Maybe they have close combat or ice punch, but they end up throwing here at Night Slash, so I decided to let this one go through, which is super risky. I should not have done this. We already saw earlier that a Brave Bird is going to KO this, so we could have just saved our HP. And now we're close to getting KO'd by the counters. But luckily we do have the energy, but we should have shielded it. We know the Quagsire doesn't have HP. We saw in the match before that we can just one-shot it, basically. Here is the Magnezone matchup. Regular Magnezone. You can beat it always. Okay, so you always get to the first Hydro Cannon before they get to a move, obviously. They want to try to farm you down. They cannot do that as the normal Magnezone. They can only do that as Shadow Magnezone. So we end up getting the shield there, and they end up throwing a move, so they have out of energy. But even if they go for the full farm down there, they have to 2 shield to your 0 shield. Then you can take it out with Annihilape. So we do come in. They do come in with the Gengar here. Gligar. That's the second time I've actually called it Gengar in all the videos. So I do end up. Well, I think I'm gonna be able to survive this probably. Ooh. All right. Well. I guess I'm going to Brave Bird, and then I'm going to hope that I can Brave Bird the Magnezone coming in, or maybe I have Aerial Ace. Maybe I just go for Aerial Ace, unless I think I can get there in 1, but it always takes 2 to get to the next Brave Bird, so they do end up coming with Annihilape, so obviously this is going to do a ton of damage to Annihilape. I do switch into our Annihilape, and I do have Shadow Ball, so we already had a huge energy lead versus... from starting in on the Magnezone, and now we just go for the counter down, and that's GG. All right, another Shadow Empoleon. I again crunch into Hydro Cannon. You'll always outpace if you to the second one. To the second move, I mean. And if they do shield the first one, they are still taking a lot of Shadow Claw damage to where the Hydro Cannon is going to KO on the second move. They end up coming in with a Sableye. I should have switched right away. The tough thing about this is that they can go return, so you're going to have to make a call now whether or not you think they're going to go for the return. They do go for the return, which is a little unfortunate. I'm probably going to go for the Aerial Aces as I have 2 of them. Probably going to get one of the shields at least. But we are in foul play range, so we have to make sure to get the shield or get this down. Annihilape definitely doesn't want to see this. I know I can go for a farm down if they do. But yeah, we're going to get KO'd here. I'm probably going to let this go. Maybe this is in farm down range of Annihilape. Maybe I'm going to farm down with... Well, we have a move, I think, on Feraligatr. No, we don't. It's tough to make a call here on which one you're going to farm down with. I decided I'm just going to farm down with Annihilape, and I'm probably going to take this move. It's just neutral, but it's going to do about half HP. They do end up coming with their own Annihilape. I end up going for the bait here because it's the only way that I can reach the Shadow Ball before them, and it ensures that even if they go for the bait, that we can go for this, although technically they can go for double Night Slash, so maybe we just let it go and we're all in on Feraligatr. I'm gonna have to shield this. We're gonna take too much damage. The other 2 Mon are pretty low, so I think as long as we get the Hydro Cannon into this, and the switch is not up obviously, because they switched into this, I think the other 2 are just going to be able to get farmed down. So 1 Night Slash, or 1 Shadow Claw to take out this Annihilape, 1 Shadow Claw to take out, well, probably 2 or 3 to take out the Sableye, and then 2 or 3 to take out the Empoleon, but we have the move, so we'll just throw it. But technically, we could have taken that last one and just fast attack it down, but why risk it when we have the move, right? All right, Sableye lead. This is fine. We do outpace, and we do a lot of damage because we're the Shadows, so I imagine we win the 1s and the 2s. Probably don't win the 0s because they do end up surviving. I'm going to take the hit here on Pidgeot. Just feels like Feraligatr could have some play in the back. Pidgeot and Cresselia, this is actually a fine matchup, except that I just go Brave Bird, right? Oh, no, I go for... Well, this is kind of risky because... I might not make it to a Brave Bird now. If they have Future Sight, I definitely won't make it. But if they have Future Sight, we'll also see it, and then we'll be able to come in with the Feraligatr on our side. So I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here. If they shield, it's going to be tough because maybe they can get a farm down, even though Psycho Cut is not a very high damaging move. But they end up getting a Psycho Cut down anyways, and now I'm like, ugh. What am I going to come in with? I come in with Feraligatr. I do not get the Shadow Claw in, which is... really terrible for us. But they end up going for the Moonblast. They're not going to be able to get another move in. They come in with a Swampert. Technically we're not even outpacing now because we didn't get that Shadow Claw in. It's just sad times. Game not working great there. Probably just going to let this go. Maybe I live a Hydro Cannon. Probably going to have to switch either way. And then I decide, no, I have enough health to throw another Hydro Cannon here. But they have a lot of farm now, and Annihilape is going to have to use one shield probably at some point just to reduce the amount of damage we're taking, and then basically cut away that farm they got with our shield usage. And that's kind of what shields are for anyways. So they're going to get one more off here, but I can throw this Night Slash whenever I want now, and I'm going to gain a bit of an energy advantage here. They do come in with the Sableye, and I know that they're far away from a move, so I go for all that extra farm there. And Cresselia is super low, and I think 2 away from a move on Cresselia, maybe 3. So I might be able to even... Against the Swampert, I'm probably going to have to throw a move, and against the Cresselia, we're going to have to farm down. And that ends up being what happens, and that's GG. We got the boost at the end. Actually, that happened a lot with a lot of the boosts that I got, is we would get them at the end when they didn't matter at all. I think on stream I got 6 boosts and 3 of them were absolutely useless. But to be fair, the other 3 were very good and helpful. So that's why you run the moves, and you'll take your 15% chance whenever you get it. All right, this team was pretty awesome. I used it in the back half of, well, let's see. I probably played 65 battles on Go Battle Day the first day. And I'm recording this here on the second day, and I don't think I'm going to get that many in today, maybe none. But yeah, if you can get your battles in, now is the time for practice, to be honest. You can get a lot of games in with one team and then really figure out the ins and outs. That's what we did here in this team. That's how we figured out how to beat regular Magnezone and even all those other electric types. I saw another Dedenne lead, already knew how to play it out. I saw several Galvantula leads, regular and actually Shadow, which I think the Shadow is very cool. Yeah, if you don't have Shadow Magnezone, I think I said this in the comments, go ahead and use Shadow Galvantula if you have it. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, so learn your teams on these days. Wins and losses don't matter that much as long as you learn how to play the team, and then you'll get those wins over time afterwards. So, Annihilape, great mon. Pidgeot, shields down, obviously a destroyer of worlds. Also, they're not always going to call the bait because they think you're running Feather Dance, which is like the opposite of Brave Bird. Doesn't do any damage. So, yeah. Hope you like this video. If you do, definitely hit the like button. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out so much with the YouTube analytics, and it will show you the next video we have coming out, which will be on one of the other 4 teams in my best teams videos. So I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.